Good morning, guys. So today we have the 2018 Chevy Cruze, and we are going to be doing the transmission removal and install. So I will I'm just going to go over a short review of what we have done so far. So if you want to start, we have to unplug all of the harness connectors on the ECU and the TCU. They're just held in by simple clips, and two 10mm here and here, and a 12mm here. And then we are going to want to take off the shift connector for the shift linkage here and here. You can do that right, I don't know how well you can see, but down here and here there is a spot. And then to undo the shift linkage, all you do is pull this back here. I'll push this down to show you guys. Pull this back, kind of spread it apart, and then push this little yellow tab up here, as you can see. And then here we have to push these two clips in right here, and you can push it up and get that out of the way right here. And then there will be 5 clips that the starter wire connects to. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one here. So now we are going to go and lift the vehicle up, and I'll show you guys what to do underneath. Alright guys, now that we are underneath the vehicle, we are going to want to drain the transmission fluid. There will be a 12mm bolt here, a 10mm bolt up here, and two more up top. And that will remove another bracket holding on to the starter wires and a clip that you have to undo. And then what you're going to want to do is, you'll see me take this off, the front exhaust. You're going to have to take off lower control arms on both sides. You're going to have to drop the subframe, undo the mounts here, undo this mount here, take both this axle out, and as far as I know, there are 3 transmission bolts up there. I'll take a picture and put it in the video, but let's get to it. To be removing the lower control arms, sway bar links, and hopefully getting the subframe down to there. So I'm going to do 2 bolts held in by nuts there. Sway bar link, you gotta disconnect that in order to get the sway bar out, in order to get to this bolt here. And then there's here. Now that we have both the lower control arms off, we are going to be removing the axle nuts, removing the drive axles, and then I believe we're going to remove the steering rack. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out, but let's get on with it. the axles out. The transmission support cross member, bracket, whatever you want to call that. Axles out of here. And now we are going to be working on dropping the exhaust and good old subframe. Let's get to it. Alright, now that we have the support installed, we are going to go in the vehicle on the driver's side underneath the steering wheel area. We are going to be pulling the shift linkage bolt so we can drop the rear of the subframe, disconnect everything for the steering rack, and then we are going to be dropping the subframe, and then we are going to be pulling the transmission. So follow along. Alright guys, so there is your steering shaft. So it's going to be an 11 or 12 mil bolt. What you're going to want to do is take that out, but before you disconnect it, we are going to be putting a steering wheel holder here so we do not ruin the clock spring. And then we will be dropping the transmission and subframe. So now that we have the bolt out of the steering linkage, we are going to put the alignment tool to hold the steering wheel in place so we don't ruin the clock spring. And now we're going to go to the front of the vehicle and start taking out transmission bolts. So now that we're at the front of the vehicle, what we are going to undo is this bolt here, this bolt here, this bolt here, and this bolt here. And that'll disconnect from the transmission, holding it up. And then with our engine support, we're going to unwind these a bit to lower it down to about, let's say, a 45-50 degree angle, and then I'll show you guys what to do on the bottom. Okay, so now that we have all of our subframe bolts done, we are going to be slowly letting down the subframe and getting to the transmission. Alright, subframe is down. Let's get it off these jack stands and hoist and start getting onto getting the transmission started. Okay, so now that we have the subframe dropped, we have lowered the engine a bit and transmission. We took out the starter here and here, these two bolts, and now we are going to be rotating the engine assembly to get to the flex plate bolts, and I think there's 6 of them. And then once those are disengaged, we can start undoing transmission bolts and sliding her out. Not fun, don't recommend. Alright, so what up? We have all the transmission bolts out, we have the starter out, and now we are going to be taking out the transmission, putting the new one in. Alright guys, so now that we have that done, sorry I didn't take any footage out, it was a complete shit show, but transmission is out on the ground, and next week we are going to be installing it. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.